Hey, what's up? It's Christopher, the Bronze Age Nerd, and welcome to another episode of Bronze Buys. This is the video where I go over all my pickups for the last week and share with you a little bit about why I picked some of them up. Now, before I get into the video, I just want to remind you that I love hearing your comments down below about what you picked up in the last week. Was it a spec buy? Was it something you're reading? Just what made you love comics this week? Let me know down in the comments below. So our first segment this week is a bunch of comics from Economics and Comics. If you're not familiar, Economics and Comics is a YouTube channel and it's also a web store, economicsandcomics.com. It's all run by the owner operator Billy over at that channel. And he is just a great guy. He gives lots of good information about specs, what to buy for modern spec, for example, a lot of really honest comic book information. And the thing that I truly appreciate in this context is he has really high quality control on the comics he sends out. Definitely go check out his store. So I'm a big fan of Sun Kamanaki, and Billy actually did a cool interview with her too. You should check it out on his channel. But she did this amazing Miracle Molly cover for Batman 108, and these were actually like a UK exclusive. So he ordered some from that store, partnered up with them, and got some to ship and sell in his store. I think he may have been the only US seller for these. Definitely a rarer set to get for this Miracle Molly cover. I wanted to grab it, and I always love Sun K's work. So this is the trade dress with the kind of like magazine style to it. And I also grabbed the minimal variant as well. One thing I actually really appreciate for economicsandcomics.com is that all the comics that he has in stock, like the currently available stuff, he gives a grade on it. And he's a really strict grader. He knows what he's doing. So he had a copy of this Berserker #2. This is the secret variant, the grandpa cover. And he had a Near Mint Plus grade on it. And looking at this cover, looking at this comic, it is definitely a Near Mint Plus, just spot on grading. And it's really cool to get that honest grade on a comic book. You know, you're getting what you're paying for basically, which is really awesome. And I absolutely appreciate that. Thanks to Billy over at Economics and Comics. So I made a trip to my sort of local comic book shop, Diversified Games, and I picked up some pretty cool stuff. I picked up this Catwoman 31 literally the day after I covered it in Nerd News last week. And this was the issue where Poison Ivy changed her name to just Ivy, kind of on her road to redemption that she's taking. I literally just bought it because I covered it. It's the only reason I grabbed it. I don't think it's like a major key or anything like that, but it is kind of a cool Catwoman cover, I guess, but I literally bought it just because I covered the story. So yeah, Catwoman 31. I noticed he had a really good chunk of the miniseries for Gen 13. I've been trying to go back and pick up some of those Gen 13 issues. I have a #1 for the limited series, but I didn't have any of the following issues. He didn't have a #1, but he had 2, and this copy of Gen 13 #3. I always thought this was a cool cover. The way that Pitt was holding Caitlin was just some early, really great J. Scott Campbell work. Gen 13 #4, you can see a pattern forming here. This is another great wraparound J. Scott Campbell cover, definitely a cool one. And Gen 13 #5 to round it all out. And this is my bronze buy of the week. This is an amazing Silver Age key. This is the first full appearance and cover appearance of Black Bolt, leader of the Inhumans. Certainly will be coming to the MCU in full at some point. We don't really know when, but with the Fantastic Four, Inhumans will follow for sure, or maybe they'll even appear at the same time, who knows. Yeah, definitely had to grab this. It's a Silver Age key. Whenever I find a Silver Age key like this at a good price, I buy it. I don't care what the condition is. This one obviously has that corner missing. It has a really good crease through the front of it. A lot of non-pressable defects there, but it also has some pressable defects, but we're talking about a low-grade copy. You know, I've opined about this in the past. I don't get a lot of Silver Age stuff in my area at all that I can find locally. So when I see something like this and I can work like a good deal out with the shop owner, which I did in this case, I go ahead and grab it. And I just love this kind of Silver Age stuff. It's great. And for this one, I just want to give a huge shout out to High Ground Comics on Instagram. Somebody I've talked to a few times. I've bounced some ideas off of him. I really love some of the stuff he posts. Really good page for you to go follow. In other words, go show him some love. And he just let me go on a really good tip here. He knew he was a G.I. Joe fan. He knew I chased some modern spec. He said, did you know that IDW is directly still selling G.I. Joe 281 for cover price? And that was a killer tip. I went and grabbed 2 copies. They only allowed 2 copies per customer. And I already have the B cover. I think it's the B cover, one of the variant covers for this, the one with like all the characters on it. But this is probably going to be the more iconic cover for this issue. And these things are going for, I mean, roughly $20 on eBay right now. Just because it's a low print run comic. A lot of people aren't getting G.I. Joe. And definitely a cool one to grab. So I got 2 copies of this. There is a second copy there as well. And that's a good tip. The whole point of that I wanted to share was don't forget to kind of think outside the box when it comes to grabbing a modern spec book if you really want to go after it. And in this case, you know, I don't know that the Sherlock character is ever going to be massive, but we did see like Don Moreno really kind of jumpstart, and we have another new kind of cool female member for the G.I. Joe team. So there could be some similar draw to that character this way. Definitely one to go look out for. And just, yeah, use that tip. Definitely check out publisher web pages, especially places like IDW where they do sell directly to customers. Not a bad tip. And thanks High Ground Comics for hitting me up through my DMs. I really appreciate that. Thanks, man. Holy cow, Mike Mayhew knocked it out of the park with this homage cover for Star Wars 13 he did here. Just this classic Boba Fett cover from the original Star Wars run. Just, it's killer. I actually almost like the trade dress better on this comic, although this one was a little bit more dinged up. It's definitely a 9.6. But this was a set, so I got the trade dress, and of course I got the version with that set as well. And this one's in a little bit better shape. Probably going to be the more valuable book of the two. That's the way it usually works, even though I think that trade dress is a better homage. A lot of those homage covers, the version ends up being worth more money, and I always like the trade dress more because it looks more like the original comic. But anyways, still a really cool comic book, and just Mike Mayhew is one of my favorite artists. He does an amazing job on all these covers he does, and some of his interior work from the Star Wars Marvel series from a few years back, really worth checking out as well. So if you follow the channel, if you watched earlier in the video, you know that I'm a big J. Scott Campbell fan, and I love this Wonder Girl Yara Flor J. Scott Campbell cover. This was the 1:25 ratio variant, and I basically slept on this one. I just didn't know it was coming out. And luckily I had a friend, Sean McCurdy, who went ahead and let me know that these were still available over at Things from Another World. And I do really wish that somebody else besides Things from Another World had these, because every time you order something cool from Things from Another World, you can pretty much always expect it to have some kind of damage. And this one has a really bad corner bump there. And in fairness, I'm sure that happened in shipping from Lunar in this case. You know, I'm positive that that's the case. I don't necessarily blame Things from Another World for any of that. It just sucks because it happens all the time. And that's one of the reasons I like economics and comics, because you do know that you're going to get really well packed stuff, and he rejects stuff that isn't up to his standard. Now, it doesn't mean you're going to get a 9.8 every time, but you're going to get a really good quality cover. For a ratio variant though, it just sucks to pull it out and be like, oh.
That's what she said.
Still, this is an amazing cover, and I guess it's probably staying in the personal collection anyway, so maybe it's not that big of a deal. But yeah, just love this cover. And I will give Things from Another World a little bit of credit. I'm really critical of stores that I spend a lot of money with. Things from Another World, Comics Elite, places like that. But I do want to give them credit. I ordered a graded comic from Dynamic Forces through Things from Another World for Batman 100. And I pre-ordered, you know, well in advance of that comic coming out, because I thought it would be a big first appearance book for Ghostmaker. Turns out that was the cameo book. It's the less desirable book. And I've been waiting for it for 5 months now, 6 months now. And that's just 90 days past when it was supposed to be delivered. Even with CGC as backed up as they are, that's no excuse for this comic to be late. So I asked if I could cancel my pre-order on it, and they don't normally do stuff like that, especially for a graded comic. But the customer service for this particular case, Kyle over there, decided to make an exception. So I really want to give him a shout out for that, because I was tired of having that book hang over my head. I really didn't want it anymore. I lost all interest in that book. So props to them for canceling that. I'm not, you know, your results definitely might vary on something like that, but I did think that was really cool, and I want to give them some credit for doing that. So this happens to me a lot. I was scrolling through Instagram. I follow tons of comic book pages, and I can't remember who posted a copy of this on their Instagram, but I hadn't ever seen the cover before. And I was a pretty decent sized fan of Danger Girl back in the day. Although I didn't follow some of the later series like this, which is probably why I didn't see this one. But this is Danger Girl Body Shots #3. Just, you know, thousands of rounds of ammunition draped all over a girl. You know, it's a butt cover, booty cover. So definitely has me written all over it. Had to grab this one, and this thing was, you know, cover price off eBay. Basically, I was able to find a copy, and yeah, just a neat cover. This is totally up my alley. I grabbed one of those Walmart 3-packs when I was shopping. It was the same day that I went out and went to Diversified Games. Yeah, this Black Widow 2 was at the back of it, and it's got a really bad corner ding on it, so whatever. And also, I don't care about these video game covers, but anyways, got this one. And then I got this Donny Cates Thor run. This is #1. This is the 4th printing. Actually kind of a cool cover. And this is the one that was visible on the front of the pack, and it's the reason I bought the pack for sure. This High Republic #3 Walmart variant. All the Walmart variants are really iffy. Like, there's this like, oh, they're rare and desirable, and there's like, well, actually there's tons of them and there's tons of Walmarts. But I bet you the print run is still lower than the A cover. So I'm wondering if the market will ever kind of correct itself. I'm really going hard on High Republic. I know a lot of people are kind of, oh, it's not that good, all this kind of stuff, but you know, in 8 years when they do a movie series based on it, it's gonna come back. So definitely wanted to grab some of this kind of the rarer variants from it. And last but not least, here on Bronze Buys After Hours, this is from Comics Elite. This was one of their May 4th comics. I love Mike DeBalfo's art. This is no exception. And this is, of course, my booty cover of the week. All right, everyone, thank you so much for watching another one of my Bronze Buys. Again, I do want to hear what you guys picked up down in the comments below. If you're interested in supporting the channel, I do have a Ko-fi where you can go donate. I put that into the production costs for this channel. Right now, I'm trying to improve my lighting setup so I can get kind of a better lighting so I can look better for all of you guys. Next up after that, I'm going to try to get a new camera and then just try to upgrade all my gear and make things look a lot better for you guys. It also helps pay for some of the content that I do produce. And I recently got a supporter who upgraded me to Ko-fi Gold. So you can do monthly subscriptions through my Ko-fi if you're interested in doing that. And that person wasn't familiar with Ko-fi, so I just wanted to take an extra second to explain what it is. It's essentially, it's a way to support people you like. It's a lot like Patreon, except for there's not like an automatic monthly donation. Like if you want to donate to me, you could do a one-time $1 donation if you want to, or you can do a larger donation, or you can do that monthly subscription kind of stuff. But I don't have it like tied to reward tiers. I'm not hiding content behind a paywall. But I do want to point out, if you're not familiar, I don't have 1,000 subscribers on this channel and I'm not monetized on YouTube. I make no money from doing this. So I do it for free. I hope you enjoy the videos. I'm not trying to guilt you into going and donating, but that person was unfamiliar with it and they did want to support me. And because of that, I know there's probably other people like that out there, and I wanted to take a second to explain how that works. And also just a huge shout out to those that have chose to donate to the channel that way. A couple of you have done that, and it's really meant a lot to me. It really makes a big difference for the channel. So thank you very much for that. All right, guys, I'll catch you on the next one. I just want to remind you, as always, hey, read comics every day.